I think the last time we talked about curves and contours and how curves will help the shoe go faster or reduce the drag on the shoe, which which will make the shoe go faster because you have less drag. The more curve you have, and not necessarily the more curve, but if you have some curve in the shoe, what it does, water flows up and down. It flows like this, so you get what we call a wave. And the reason for the curves, it tries to fit into this wave. So the more the boat is kind of like the wave, or at least to some degree, to some extent, then this will reduce the drag, because you have something we call eddies, sharp points. The water has a tendency, when it hits the back, it has a tendency to kind of roll around a little bit, and we showed this, I think, on the last film. And so if you got curves, the more curves you got, within reason. I mean, here again, boats are give and take, and you gain on one end, you lose on the other end. You have to understand that. And so you have to take this into consideration. So you don't want to over curve it. But in this case, we just want to make the shoe look good in our curves. Because what we're going to do to get more speed, we're not going to use, we could use different oar techniques, a single oar, double oar, and we can use sails or kites and all this other good stuff to do that with. But we're going to get it, that's going to be another class. When we look at sails, we look at sail kites, we look at oars, we look at paddles, and we look at sweeps and all kinds of other things that will help us out in the water. Because here again, we're out in deep water. Sometimes we have to sit down, sometimes we stand up, sometimes we do this, sometimes we do that. We don't stand up all the time. We don't sit down all the time. We have that capacity to stand up when it's to our advantage, and we sit down when it's to our advantage, and we don't get into some kind of pseudo idealism. In other words, we don't get into a situation where you're supposed to walk like this, or you're supposed to stand like this. Well, if you ain't walking like this, it's not a water shoe and all this stuff. Because now, of course, we have the historic material, and we are supported by the historical material as to what a water shoe is. So we're just gonna push on. We're just gonna push on along.